What's going on, Philadelphia sport fans? It's me. It's your boy SalG, and we're here with another action-packed week in Philadelphia. That's right. The Philadelphia Eagles, ladies and gentlemen, are on a historic run right now. They are kicking butt and taking names, and they are being led not by Jalen Hurts, but by one Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley kicking butt right now, guys. In the year 1392, Saquon Barkley. I don't know what I was going to say. That Saquon Barkley has 1,392 rush yards right now. It's his career high. It's his career high in rushing. We're in week 12. We just wrapped up week 12, guys. And Saquon is on some type of pace right now, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. He is something else, ladies and gentlemen. My man, Saquon Barkley. And oh, by the way, this is the Wraparound show, and you're watching it on It's a Wrap Network. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, ladies and germs. Check that out. Pointing right there. Follow it, subscribe to it, get it out to your friends, family, everybody else, enemies. We don't care. It's all love here. But man, the Eagles right now are kicking butt, and they are being led not by Jalen Hurts, but by Saquon Barkley. And where Saquon Barkley goes, the Eagles go. He is the MVP of the Philadelphia Eagles. Not Jalen Hurts. Nobody else. It's him. It's him. It's him. It's him. This team would not be where they're at right now without Saquon Barkley leading the charge. My man last night against the Los Angeles Rams, which I thought they were going to have their hands full. Going to LA, I was looking at it like a letdown game. The Rams aren't a bad team. They were 5-5 going into the game. They lost. They ended up losing the game, so now they're 5-6. But they're a decent team. They went 4-1 in their last 5. They're pretty good. They got offensive power. Matt Stafford's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Puka Nacua is a stud receiver. Cooper Kupp's pretty darn good too. 1 year, a couple years back, including the playoffs, he had over 2,000 yards receiving. So Cooper Kupp, not bad. And Puka Nacua, who, man, he was like a late round rookie last year, and all he did was lead all rookies. What do you have, 1,400 receiving yards? So I thought the Eagles were going to have their hands full. I wouldn't have been surprised if they were going to lose that game traveling to LA, but they didn't. They kicked butt. They kicked the Eagles' butt. They kicked the Rams' butt, and it's all for Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley had 302 yards from scrimmage last night. Do you know what the Rams finished with in total yards as a team? 290. Yeah, 290. Saquon, the one-man wrecking crew. Last night, a lot of history last night with Saquon Barkley. Barkley racked up the 9th most yards rushing in a game in NFL history. 302 total yards, like I mentioned, becoming the 12th player in NFL history to top 300 yards, and the first Eagles player, while also becoming the first NFL player with 2 70-yard touchdown runs in a game since Maurice Jones-Drew in 2009. That's 15 years ago. Remember Maurice Jones-Drew? If you guys played fantasy football for a long time like I did, I remember him. The guy was a dump truck. He was an absolute beast. But, man, what Saquon's doing right now, leads the league with a career best, 1,392 yards rushing. There's still 6 more games for the Eagles to play. Now, if the Eagles are in a great spot, maybe he rests a game or two. We need him for the playoffs. We need him for the stretch run. If we're going to win a Super Bowl, we need him at full strength. Oh, I'm losing my notes. That's not good. So I'm talking about Barkley leading the league. League best 7,100 rushing games in his first season with Philadelphia. after he had 6 frustrating and a couple injury-plagued seasons with the Giants. Not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, he was hurt. He was banged up, but the Giants stink. Their offensive line stinks. He was happy to get out of there. You could see once he got out of town, now he's with the Eagles. He's rejuvenated. He looks fresh. He looks like he just came out of Penn State where he was ripping off 70, 80, 90-yard runs on a regular at Penn State. Oh, what did Barkley do last night? Rip two 70-yard plus runs. Like I mentioned, first since Jones Drew 15 years ago. First. Averaging 9.8 yards per carry last night. Barkley destroyed the Eagles' franchise record of 217 yards rushing by Sean McCoy in 2013. That was that snowball blizzard game. If you remember, everybody, the forecast, we weren't even supposed to have snow. I don't know what the hell happened. The wind changed or whatnot, and we got dumped on. I remember I was coming home from the mountains from a bachelor party that year. That was a hell of a ride home. Lucky I didn't get in an accident. I saw cars spinning all over the place. In 200, it was the most 296 total yards since Deuce Staley in 2000. That's Barkley's 302. So it's 24 years ago. Barkley beat that record. Barkley also had the biggest rushing performance ever against the Rams, exceeding DeMarco Murray's 253-yard performance for Dallas back in 2011. So what could we say about Saquon Barkley? He's the MVP. He's my MVP. And people are like, come on, Sal, non-quarterbacks don't win the MVP. Well, contraire, mon frere, Adrian Peterson won the MVP, and he wasn't a quarterback. He was a running back, and a pretty darn good one, too. He won the MVP back in 2012, 12 years ago. And during that season, Adrian Peterson averaged 6 yards per carry. I believe Adrian Peterson also rushed for like 2,000 yards that year. Well deserving of the MVP. Well, right now, Barkley is averaging 6.2 yards per carry. 6.2, bettering Adrian Peterson number right now. So, barring injury, if Barkley keeps producing the way he is right now, I don't know how he's not the MVP. And I don't want to jinx myself because I threw a little coin on the MVP bet for Saquon last night while I was watching the game. After he ripped that first 70-yard touchdown run, this is before the game ended. I got plus 3,500 odds. So I'm sure that went significantly lower now after the game at this point. And the Birds are on fire. 7 straight wins for the Eagles since their bye week. So whatever the offensive line, whatever the players said to Nick Sirianni, hey, Nick, what you're doing's not working. Step aside. Let us take over. Let's make it a more run-based type of offense. And they fully embraced it. They're running through Saquon Barkley. He is the focal point of this offense. It isn't Jalen Hurts. And I think that's a good thing for Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts has faults of his own. We know he has trouble for whatever reason throwing in the middle of the field. He likes to throw YOLO balls on 3rd and short. That's probably Nick's fault, Kellen Moore's fault. But I don't know what it is with Jalen sometimes, but, he holds the ball too long and he'll take those pressure. He takes these sacks where he doesn't need to. He should just get rid of the football. He's done a little better with that lately. So I'll give Hurts credit there. But we go through Saquon Barkley, and I want his health to be good. I'm just wishing for the best right now because right now we need it because the Eagles are being decimated by injuries at the moment. It is not good. And, we won the battle, but are we losing the war? It's a war of attrition in the NFL. Guys drop left and right, week after week. Some guys are only out a game or two. Some guys are on IR. They miss 4 games. Some guys are out half the season. Some guys are out the entire season. Well, the Eagles are getting bit by the injury right now. And, I hope that doesn't turn their fortune because, look, if anything happens to Saquon, I think the season's over. I think they have no chance to win the Super Bowl without Barkley. You're not going to put Kenneth Gainwell back there, Will Shipley back there, and get this type of production. But the Eagles suffered a big blow. Brandon Graham, 36-year-old Brandon Graham, who you can argue, is the best player on our defensive line. You can argue that. He's 36 years old. This may be his last year playing football. But he ended up tearing his tricep last night. He left the game, tore his tricep. It was confirmed. He's out for the season. That's a big loss for the Eagles. It's a huge loss. Because who's going to step in right now? Is Jalix Hunt? He's been playing well, but he's a rookie. And, it's a little concerning when your best defensive player that can put pressure on the quarterback is 36 years old. And Brandon Graham, I mean, he wasn't just displaying old man strength. I mean, he looked like he could still go. I mean, he's not like it's not like a farewell tour where he's getting a sack here and there. He's really playing. And, Graham, I mean, it's such a disappointment right now. Graham was coming off a historic night where he passed. He had the most starts for an Eagle. It was 205 or 206 games played. He also passed Clyde Simmons for third on the franchise's all-time sack list. And Clyde Simmons was a beast back in the day. Graham is also the only player in Eagles franchise history to play 15 seasons with the franchise. And in last night's game, he finished with the sack, 3 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss. And he currently has 76.5 sacks for his career. I hope it's not the end for him. I hope he comes back. There were some interviews. I read that he said, he's disappointed in how it ended. He doesn't want to go out like that. He wanted to go out where he played the entire season. So he's going to see what happens. I guess he's going to see if the Eagles show interest in bringing him back. But man, that is a big blow to the Eagles defense right now. 76.5 sacks for his career. A half sack ahead of Simmons. For third in franchise history, only Reggie White has 124, and Trent Cole with 85.5 have more. And then coming into the game, you have no Devontae Smith. He's hurt, hamstring injury. Let's hope he's only out this game, but there's a chance he misses more than one game. Darius Slay left the game with a concussion. So there's a chance he misses next week's game against Baltimore. That's a huge game. Playing in Baltimore, the people are saying that Lamar Jackson is the front runner for the MVP, while I say it's Saquon Barkley. But you have Lamar playing unbelievable. The Ravens looking great. The only good news, I think, going into the game with the Ravens is the Ravens play tonight. And that'll end up turning into a short week. And I said it when I was doing a post-game show last night, that I would see the line being -2, -3, and I saw it opened up at -2.5. So there you go. But the injuries are huge. Also, Bryce Huff got wrist surgery. He may return at the end of the season. And what does that mean? At the end of the regular season, during the playoff run? What does that mean? I mean, it's not like he was giving you much, but he was playing a little bit better than what he gave you in the first part of the season. It's huge. It's big right now. I'm looking at the depth chart for the Eagles as far as defense goes. So you see Jalix Hunt, who was in the rotation. Now you're going to have Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat. Who else now? They're going to bring in some guys, I guess. Milton Williams is going to get some. Are they going to do some stuff with Milton Williams? I mean, he's an interesting player. The backup to Milton Williams is Moro Ojomo. I don't know much about him. Honestly, I don't even remember his name being called. So we'll see what happens here. The Eagles have some other guys on defense that I'm not familiar with. But I can tell you one thing. Losing Brandon Graham sucks. And the other thing is, when Darius Slay came out, the Rams were attacking Isaiah Rodgers' side. And Isaiah Rodgers got bit on some plays. One play was a PI call, which I thought was a bit bogus. He didn't really do much to stop Puka Nacua's progress on his route, but they called that, and that led to a score for the Rams. But this is huge right now. I'm scared. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, for sure. A little nervous right now about the birds, guys. How are we all feeling? How we doing? It was a big win. I'm all hyped up, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got to talk about the injuries. So let's see here. All right, what we got? Comments blowing up. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Do it up. Steve, what's up, brother? BG's elbow killed my killed my brick. Yeah, me too, brother. Steve saying this game reminded me of the 92 Eagles versus the 92 Cowboys. Eagles would flex until Nate Newton and Eric Williams showed up. Man, Nate Newton. Man, there was some big dudes, man. Big dudes for Dallas back in the day, man. Mo Jones Drew was Brian Westbrook light. He might have been Brian Westbrook light, but he was a little heavy in the bottom there, man. That dude was built like a tank. It's a Rap Network chiming in. What's up? What is the offensive plan for the Eagles when or if a team shuts him down or if he gets injured? Like I said, if Barkley's hurt, he gets injured. It's it. It's lights out. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to lean on Jalen Hurts and have him throw YOLO balls all day. I don't know. I'm not really cool with that. Uh, yeah, if Barkley gets hurt, this whole thing blows up. It fizzles out. Super Bowl. There goes the MVP. There goes the Super Bowl. I don't see how they would do it. They need him to win. They need him. Steve saying, ironic that the two top NFC teams have lost their heart and soul defensive ends now. I really don't know how we make up for not being able to set the edge as well. That could create some ripple effect D-holes. Yeah, I'd say so, Steve. And it's one thing. I mean, I think the Eagles should have tried. I mean, I guess Hassan Reddick's replacement was Bryce Huff. Well, that didn't work out. So now everything's on Brandon Graham, and now Brandon Graham's out. I wonder who they're going to bring in. Are there any free agent mercs that you're going to have some old guys that you're just going to rotate in and out? Maybe they come in for a play or two, go all out on a rush or two, try and get to the quarterback and then come out and sit out for 10 minutes. I don't know. It's a wrap. Are the Eagles going to rely on a quarterback they don't trust to throw the middle of the field? No. But if that's why they have Barkley. But I'm fine with running Barkley into the ground if it leads to a Super Bowl. I mean, Barkley blows his tires out at the end of the year and he can't play next year, but you win a Super Bowl, it's the price you pay, to be the best. 285 pass attempts, 36 to the middle. 7.9% of the time they throw to the middle of the field. I know that's not enough. That's not enough. And A.J. Brown's a guy that can go into the middle of the field and make plays. We see it all the time. He's a stud. They have Johnny Wilson. I know he hasn't done much, but my man's 6'6". He's a wide receiver. Wide receiver in a tight end's body. Yeah, that's right? Or tight end in a wide. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, he's a big guy. It's a big target. That's a guy you can stick in the middle of the field. Dallas Goedert, Calcaterra. I mean, that's the stuff they would have to do. They would have to get more creative, obviously. If Barkley's out, I think you're going to be more pass heavy. Knock on linoleum. I don't, let's hope that doesn't happen. Yet they are paying the quarterback $1.6 million a game. Yeah. I know. Why not? The offensive line is elite, right? So why can't Gainwell produce behind it? Come on, we can't expect Gainwell to do what Saquon Barkley's doing. He's not going to rip off no 70, 80-yard runs. Now, I heard that Gainwell can back squat 600 pounds, which is great and all. And, you could put him in at the short goal line or short yardage situations, and I think he would convert those for you and get that 2-yard touchdown. He did have a nice 15-yard touchdown in the game, or 13-yard touchdown, so that was nice. Offensive line is elite, but come on now, Saquon Barkley's a unicorn. Without Barkley, Steve says they would still run and rely on KG and Shipley's pass catching abilities and their D, and it would most likely not work, right? Or NS would regress back to bubbles and draws. Sirianni, Kellen Moore, right? That's NS, I'm assuming. Ugh, I hate draws. Shipley can hit holes. I know, but Shipley, did they give Shipley any playing time? I mean, what does he really do other than special teams right now? They're not. Maybe they don't trust on the block. Is that the problem? He can hit holes, but he doesn't have as much patience and vision. The question is, how much vision and patience would they need? KG was nice in 22 playoffs. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, I hope we don't get to that point. We'll see what happens. Hold your horses on Rodgers. He is very good and legit. He is better than Ringo. He is better than Ringo. Um, but it seems like when Slay was out, the Rams were specifically targeting Isaiah Rodgers' spot. They weren't targeting Quinyon Mitchell because he's on an island over there and they don't want to go to, I heard it thrown around Quintanamo Bay, which is kind of interesting. I didn't come up with that, but they're not throwing to him. And Cooper DeJean, they don't really want to mess with him either. But I guess out of those three, Rodgers is the weakest. So let's hope Slay is back. But Slay isn't the guy he once was. JJ Watt. All right. He's doing Walmart commercials or something, man. He's doing a commercial where he was locked in a sporting goods store or something. I don't know what he's up to. So on one of those 70-yard touchdowns, Rams had 10 in the box. 10. We still blew them away. That's the level of domination this O-line is dishing out. All right. So maybe I shouldn't get too worried if something happens to Barkley, but yeah, I got to stop talking about that because I feel like I don't want to will that into existence. Rodgers is a dog. He is not a weak link. All right, Steve, I trust you, brother. All right. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if Slay comes back. But if Slay's out of game, he's got to, now with the concussion protocol, they're really stringent on that stuff. So it seems that players that get a concussion typically sit out the next game now, is what I've seen. So we'll see what happens. Get into it. But man, Hassan Reddick. It's a shame that the Eagles can't trade for Reddick. You can't trade him back this season. That's why I remember I reading something a while back that said even if the Eagles wanted to, they couldn't get him back in a trade. There's some type of rule there. But maybe next year. All right, and Steve's saying that Slay doesn't have Slay's makeup speed. Rodgers doesn't. Okay, gotcha. So that's the Eagles going to Baltimore, and you know what? If the Eagles lose Sunday, which there's a chance that can happen. I thought they were going to lose against the Rams. They could lose against the Ravens here, and I'm not going to. My world's not going to end if they lose. So I'm okay. They rattled off 7 in a row. If they lose one here, I'm fine with it. Then you got Carolina at home, Pittsburgh at home, which Pittsburgh's a great team. Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in the NFL, if not the best right now in the NFL. He's up there. He's awesome. So that's going to be a tough game, but we are at home. I still think we got the edge there. And then we play at Washington. And Washington, who all but seemed to have the playoffs locked up, is now in a tailspin. So who knows what's going to happen to that team come next month when we play them, Sunday, December 22nd. We're at Washington, but that might not be a scary game. And then we get Dallas at home and the Giants at home. So if we need those wins, if we're already not, locked into our home field advantage or, whatever division lockups and all that, they're cake games. So there's a chance that we don't even play our starters in those last 2 games and we still might get a win or even 2 because that's how bad it is. It's bad in Dallas. It's bad in New York, in New Jersey, and in Washington, it's not so good right now. So let's go Birds. Let's do it. And Steve's saying, I got to be honest, Reddick was not a one-trick pony, but he would never play for Fangio and enjoy it. He don't want to have coverage responsibility. Okay. Would he have to be in coverage, though? Do we wouldn't need him to do that, would we? Right now, I mean, I think the way the defense is, the linebackers in the secondary. I mean, I don't think he would even need to run out there. But Yeah. But yeah, I'll welcome him back at open arms, man, if he wants to come back next year. But Reddick's not young. He's 32, I believe, right? So he would be 33 next year. I hope Brandon Graham comes back next year. I really want him back. I don't want him to go. He was awesome, man. And he really seemed to evolve, like become a better player once he turned 30, which is crazy. If we lose the Baltimore, which I think there is a greater than 50% chance we do, it's a learning experience. We need this to stay sharp. We just can't get our poop pushed in. Yeah, and I don't think the Eagles are going to get embarrassed, but they might lose by 3 or 4, and it's the way it goes. But I wouldn't worry about it if we lose that game. I'm really not. I think we're in a good position right now. Keep Saquon healthy. Let's hope that there's no more injuries and the guys that are hurt do come back. Who else is? So we have Huff. Bryce Huff is supposed to come back week 16 because he's on our IR. That's a minimum of 4 games. You got what? Bradbury. I mean, not. You don't really need him right now. Byron Young. I hope we get Devontae back next week. I really like him back. All right, let's see. On to the next topic. The Sixers, 3-13. What the heck is going on with these guys? I mean, coming into this season, I mean, we were supposed to destroy our division, aren't we? Run shit, so to speak. It ain't happening. And whose fault is it? There's a couple guys to blame. But one guy to blame, I think we could start with, is Joel Embiid, because there is somebody that called him out. And here we go. My name is Tyrese Maximus Decimus Meridius Jr., father to Joel Embiid. Yes, I am his daddy. Husband to this shipwreck of a Sixers team. And I will have my vengeance in this season or the next. That's right, Tyrese Maxey. I'm dropping a little gladiator there for you guys. Tyrese Maxey, Maximus, new gladiator movie coming out. I want to see that movie. It looks pretty good. Denzel's in it. I'm in. But Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid and said, "You're not showing up to practices, man. You're not showing up to these games on time." Tyrese Maxey, the leader, not Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid should be the leader of this team. He's not. So I'm going to say it's Tyrese Maxey now. And that's why I'm saying he's the father of Joel Embiid. He's his daddy. He called him out, rightly so. And it got leaked, rightly so. Joel Embiid's mad. He says when he finds that guy, he's going to get it if he feels like getting around to finding the guy and, doing stuff. But probably not if he's late to practice. And, I don't know what's going on with Joel Embiid, man. I'm not defending him anymore. I'm over him. That's it. I'm not going to call him soft. I'm not. But he is just not the fit, the mentality for this city. He's not. He's not Philly. He's not a Philly guy. So he better step up. I know he's nursing his knee injury. He didn't play in his last game. Paul George didn't play. And all of a sudden, you sign these 2 guys and they look like they're senior citizens. But if they can't play and do what they're supposed to do, the Sixers aren't going anywhere. So that's why they're what? 3-13, I said? Yeah, they stink. They stink. And let's get you know what? Blow it up. Let's go to lottery and get that guy Flag. Is that his name? I forgot his first name, but there's the guy Flag. He's supposed to be the number one draft pick. So fail for Flag, flagrant for Flag. I don't know. F words that are synonymous with stink that we can throw around with Flag. Hashtag it up. Let's see what we can do. But Joel Embiid out knee. Paul George out knee. Tyrese Maxey came back. That's nice to see. But Tyrese can't do it all. He can't do it all. And Jared McCain he looks great. And I'm kind of worried that what's going to happen is the Sixers end up flipping him in a deal because they become desperate to try and contend. Or, they're going to contend. What's going to happen? They're not going to be this bad. They can't be, right? If everybody starts playing on the team at the same time, they should rack up some wins. And my fear is you got this guy like Jared McCain who looks like a player, but if you're going to make a deal for a superstar, whoever you're making that deal with, they're going to come calling and say, we want McCain in the deal. And I'm afraid the Sixers are going to give him up. And then the Sixers don't win anything this year, and it's all blown up. The process, whatever the hell it is, it's gone. It's over. But I'm over Joel Embiid. If you can move him, move him. But there's a lot of accountability on this team, and we're talking about the players, Embiid, you know, but and then they're talking about Nick Nurse stinks. Well, fire Nick Nurse. Well, I don't think Nick Nurse is the problem. I think your problem is Daryl Morey. Because what did Daryl Morey do? He just gave an 3-year extension to Joel Embiid, who knows has this injury. Why would you sign this dude to this type of money and this extension? He can't play back-to-back games. He said it, and Nick Nurse said it, and I think Morey probably said it. But I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand what that is. I don't understand that move. So Daryl Morey probably to save his butt if it came down to it. Yeah, Nurse is gone. But I think it's Morey's fault. Morey signed Embiid to this deal. Morey gave a max contract to Paul George. I mean, Paul George is what? Early 30s, right? Not young, not a spring chicken at all. He got max money. That's a 3-year deal. It's like dead weight. And I think he's 34. My mistake. He's even older. So he's got a knee problem. What a surprise. A very tall player who jumps up and down on a court has a knee problem. Yeah, that's every NBA guy, right? And then they're mid-30s, nursing these injuries. Nursing, Nick Nurse, right? Yeah. So we got a nurse on the team to take care of these guys. Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, they got waxed by the beard by James Harden and the Clippers yesterday, 125-99. Destroyed. I mean, ugh. That's what I'm ugh. Throw up's coming out right now. Oh my God. Well, I'm sorry. I'm looking up these notes here, and I just think they're going to muff everything up. I think McCain is your lone bright spot right now. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, of course, is now that he's back healthy. But before that, the only thing you got going for you on this team is Jared McCain. And I'm afraid the Sixers are just going to go ahead and flip him. For what? Bogdanovich? Is that going to put us over the top? When you can't get Embiid on the court healthy, Paul George is hurt. I don't know. A little nervous. Little nervous, guys. Sixers play the Rockets on Wednesday. So, yeah. Let me see what we got here. This is wrapping up the Eagles here. I saw Maddox in some dime coverage last night, and he wasn't bad. Was that when they put the second stringers in? But nah, I got dime coverage. You got 5 DBs, right? Nurse has no grasp on the situation. Not saying many head coaches would, but I think those Embiid comments were digs at Nurse and not as much Joe. That's right, because one of the things that Joel came back with was saying, hey, I don't even know what we're doing on the court. I don't even know what we're running half the time. But you could also come back and say, well, maybe if you were at practices and stuff, maybe you would know what we're running. But maybe that's the problem. Steve's saying he thinks Joe is hooked on pain medication. Well, I don't know if that's the case, but I hope not, because that is nasty if he is. When is the point of no return for the 24-25 Sixers schedule-wise? The point of no return for them. I don't know, guys. You tell me. It's an 82-game season. We're 16 games in. So what's that? My math, we're a fifth of the way through the season. So what? Another month? Another month, and if we don't get rolling here, I mean, we are in bad shape, guys. Just looking at the standings here, trying to come back. You got Cleveland 17-1. Good luck catching up to that. Boston 14-3. They won the finals last year. They won the championship. Good luck. Orlando's a pretty good team. They're 11-7. The Sixers aren't even the worst in the division. It's the Washington Wizards, 2-13. Unreal. I'd say another month. And then that's it. So the Sixers, they remain stuck at the bottom of the NBA standings, resemble a team made for the draft lottery than a playoff run. All right, as of an article I read, because Embiid and George can't be healthy and they can't be in the lineup. So, hope is that a couple more days of rest and then Embiid and George are back in the lineup Wednesday against Houston. We'll see. And then Jared McCain, last I checked, he was in the lead for the sports book at the moment for Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure if that's still the case or not, but would you trade McCain if a team agreed to also take Joe and PG? I know that's a joke because you're like, what is it? What is it? Cutting your face? Shit, cutting your nose to spite your face or something. But why would you do right? If you're going to get rid of Joe and PG, that means you're thinking of next year in the future. But you wouldn't trade them all. But man, who's going to take Embiid? I mean, I don't know who's going to take him. Coots, 2-0 2-0 Flyers. All right, the Flyers are winning right now. All right, we'll get into them in a minute here. I'm excited to talk about them. I'll tell you what, out of the four major teams right now, I think I had might have been the highest expectations for coming into this season, and now they're the worst, and they are a tough watch. And Steve's saying if you can't get to 23-23, say goodnight. Kenny Atkinson has always been one of my favorite head coaches. I'm not surprised at his success in the least. There you go. Kenny Atkinson. I got stuff written all over the place. All right. I think I'm going to wrap up the Sixers chat here because this team here, man. I mean, should I even get into this box score? James Harden, man, he was laughing it up. He was laughing through his beard, man. 23 points, 2 boards, 8 assists. Maxey, he did his part, 17 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists. And Jared McCain put up 18 with 4 assists. 10 of 12 free throws. He was 3 of 15. He got most of his points from his free throws last night. But man, everybody was booing Beard. And he was loving it, man. Loving it. All right. Flyers time, guys. Getting the Flyers, guys. I'm flyered up. My daughter made me a bunch of bands here. I'm wearing them right now. One of them's the Flyers colors here. Flyers playing the Golden Knights, and Steve keeping me in the know here with the score. They're up 2-0. So yeah, Sean Couturier scored. Good for him. We need him to do that. One thing this team desperately needs is a frontline center. We don't have that. And maybe that's something we get eventually, but we are a retooling team per Danny Briere and Keith Jones. I don't want to say rebuilding, but yeah, that's what we are. But you know what? We look a lot better shape. The Flyers also play 82 games, and they're 9-10-2 right now. And with the win, they'll be back at 500. And what? They started out the season 1-5. So good for them. Good for the Flyers. They're playing the Golden Knights, wrapping up the 5-game homestand. They didn't have that great of a home. Did they have that great of a homestand? I'm taking a look here. So let's see. They lost. Oh, excuse me. They beat Buffalo, lost to Colorado, lost to Carolina, beat Chicago. So they're 2-2. And with the win today, they go 3-2. So Ideally, it's not what you want at home, but if you finish at 3-2, I'll take it. Props to the Flyers though in Saturday's game for winning in overtime. They were down 2-0 going into the third, so they battled back. I mean, if one thing you could say about this Flyers team, I mean, they're not quitting. They are playing. So if you want to credit that to the players, you want to credit that to Tortorella. I know Torts, there's some detractors. Some people don't like Tortorella. Some people think he should be fired. I like Torts. I think he's good for this young team. I don't agree with benching Matvey Mishkov 2 games. Look, I don't think he's going to bench him anymore the rest of the season. Mishkov did score the game winner in overtime. But it was nice to see that, look, the Blackhawks stink. Other than Connor Bedard, they have nothing. They're rebuilding, and they're rebuilding around Bedard, to be expected, of course, one of the best players in the league. And, yeah, it's, the Flyers have struggled to score this season, but they are productive when they're trailing late in games for some reason. It's like that they get a jetpack on their butt, and they really start going after it. I mean, they really make a game out of it. Even when they're down, they come back. They don't always win, but they make it interesting. So the Flyers were 1-5-1 to start the season, but yeah, they'll be back at 500 if they get a win tonight and close out that homestand. Michkov with his second overtime goal in the last 5 games. Michkov leads the Flyers into this game today. The first round pick in 2023, ranks second on the team in goals with goals 7, assists 9, and he gets more playing time under Coach John Tortorella. You can't bench him anymore, John. Stop. Knock it off. Stop playing around. Don't mess with him. Let him be. Let him play. Let him make mistakes. The guy's not even 20 yet. He can't even have a drink. So let him play. Let him play. Let him make mistakes on the ice before he makes them in life. I'm only kidding. Mitch Goff is going to be all right. He'll be a good guy. All right, let's go Flyers. Let's go Fly guys. VGK is asleep at the wheel right now, and the Flyers need to keep up the pressure if they want a prayer of holding off the comeback, which is most likely coming. Well, the Golden Knights are a pretty good team. What, did they win a cup, or like they went to the Stanley Cup in like their first or second year? There you go, Morgan Frost hat trick. Yeah, I would think he'd be one of the guys that they're going to move. I mean, as much as we want them to add on, they're going to get rid of, guys that are older that they're not going to build around. So I believe Frost is one of those guys. So we'll see what happens there. All right, we're going to finish it off. We're going to round out the wraparound with some Phillies talk, guys. Phillies. The Soto sweepstakes continues. Soto hasn't made a decision yet, but the Phillies did meet with him. Soto getting wined and dined by teams, coaches, GMs all around baseball. My money is, if I had to pick, he's going to go back to the Yankees. But if it's not the Yankees, probably the Dodgers, or excuse me, not the Dodgers, the Mets. The Red Sox, I heard, was a contender, and then the Dodgers. But the Phillies aren't far behind. And if I'm the Phillies, you know what? Price and force the crap out of Juan Soto. Just throw a bid out there just to keep all teams honest, because you don't want to just say, "Oh, we're not going to try. He's going to cost too much money," because what agents do. They want to pit teams against each other, but you still just want to go ahead and just say, "Hey, 500 million. I know you're not going to take it, but 500 million." And then they're like, Boris comes back and says, "Well, the highest offer is 600 million," and you could just get cute and say, "Oh, 550," and you know that you're not going to get them. Now, I really much would love Soto to be in the middle of a Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber sandwich. That would be awesome. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen. Here's why. You got 2 years. Nick Castellanos is $40 million. That's coming off the books. You got 2 years. Taiwan Walker, $36 million coming off the books. Kyle Schwarber is a free agent after 2025. Now, while I want Kyle to come back and resign, and hoping the Phillies can do some type of 3-year deal to bring Schwarbs back, if you bring in Soto, chances are you're all in for this year. And with the money you're going to be paying Soto, which is roughly what? God, it could be 40 to 50 million a year annual average salary. That's what you're looking at. That's just disgusting. I don't know how well that's going to sit with Bryce Harper, who has 7 years left on his deal. But last year, when he had 8 years remaining, was saying, I want a contract extension. And I was like, excuse me, come again? You have 8 years left on your deal and you want an extension on top of your 8 years, which nobody has ever added an extension in Major League Baseball on top of an 8-year contract that's still outstanding. So I don't know how happy Bryce would be if he knew he was getting doubled in annual average salary. But if anything could bring Soto here, his buddies Bryce Harper that he played with in Washington. He also played with Trey Turner. And Kyle Schwarber might have been a part of that Washington team too. I don't know if they were both there at the same time. I can't remember. Harper might have been gone, but Schwarber was a National. Schwarber won a World Series with the Nationals. We know Harper did not win a World Series. The Nationals, ironically enough, won the World Series once Harper left Washington. So that's kind of funny. But the Phillies can't go in with the same crap year after year. I mean, last year it was just Whit Merrifield. If you do it again this year, now I already saw the latest news report is Garrett Stubbs sticking around Philadelphia as your backup catcher and number one DJ. So for all you Garrett Stubbs fans out there, I like Garrett Stubbs, but he's more of a rah-rah cheerleader type player. He always is the top of the dugout doing his dances and all. Fine, as a backup catcher, whatever. But if you didn't re-sign him, I mean, that's not gonna. They wouldn't have did anything for me either. I wonder though. JT Realmuto's contract also expires after 2025. I don't see them re-signing JT. Is it possible perhaps they ship JT, go Marshawn Stubbs, or maybe bring in somebody else on a cheaper deal or something after this season? I don't know, or if they don't move him. But that's something that they can do. There's definitely creative ways to get Soto in here. But if they don't get Soto, what I am hearing is the latest report is Bohm and outfielder Justin Crawford. And Steve, you probably won't like that, and I don't know if I do either, because we have high hopes for Justin Crawford here to the White Sox for Garrett Crochet. I want Garrett Crochet here too. And if we're going to get Crochet, I'm going to say, and we're getting up Crawford, you got to throw back. I keep forgetting his darn name. He was the talk of the town last season during the deadline. What the hell is his name? The outfielder in Chicago. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. You guys know I'm talking. You guys know how I'm talking. Look at this riveting podcast here. Outfielder, White Sox. Looking it up. Looking it up. Ah, shit. I don't remember his name. I can't remember. Somebody's going to chime in. Luis Robert. There we go. Luis Robert. There you go. Soto will meet with the Bad News Bears if he thought money was there. Sure he would. Schwarb's Casty sandwich. Pause. So just think of that lineup, Steve. No, I'm not lying. You're going to take. Here's what I would do. If you get Soto, I'm taking Schwarber out of the leadoff hole. I'm putting Turner there. I'm going Turner, Harper, Soto, Schwarber, Nick. That's your top five. I think that would be crazy nasty. And then you can round it off for Real Muto batting sixth or whatever. Steve saying F Crochet. He is Drew Smiley. Check this out though, Steve. Hold on a second, bud. Hold on now. I just looked up too. Garrett Crochet's WAR was 4.7 last year, right below Chris Sale, who did win the Cy Young for the Braves, just beating out Zach Wheeler. So I don't think he stinks, man. I think he's regarded as the top 10 top 10 pitcher. Stott. What? I never said Stott. Top 10 pitcher in baseball. That's I'm not saying he is. That's what I've heard and read. So I would take Garrett Crochet. Maybe and then maybe they can get creative. Maybe you flip Ranger then at that point if you brought Crochet in. Luis Robert. Yeah. Steve says F him too. No, I never said batting Stott fifth. Come on now, Matty B. You're putting words in my mouth. No, Stott's batting seventh, eighth, ninth over there. He's at the bottom third of your lineup. Now, after Nick Castellanos fifth, you can go Real Muto. You can go whatever. That's seventh Stott. I'll be okay with that. What's up, Sal? What's going on, Adam? How you doing, bud? In the playoffs, Crochet was barely mediocre. He and his Clarence Weatherspoon. That's a blast from the past, man. I like Clarence Weatherspoon, man. I guess he was like the only bright spot on the Sixers team at that time. Was he also playing with Dana Barros? I'm trying to remember. I like Dana Barros too. In the playoffs, Crochet was barely mediocre. Wait, who did Crochet play for? Am I missing something? When did he make the playoffs? Did he get traded? Flyers up 2-0 after first period. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate the update. Steve was filling me in too. Couturier with the goal. Who scored the other goal for the Fly guys? No, we got some stuff there, guys, for the Phillies, man. I mean, they got to make moves. Oh, Sox were in 21 playoffs. Okay. And Crochet played as he was a reliever, though, at that point, right? He wasn't starting in 21, was he? I thought he just converted. Frost scored. Okay. Thanks, Steve. But the Phillies got to make some moves, bring in some bullpen guys. You're going to let Charlie Sheen walk. Charlie Sheen is Carlos Estevez. For all you don't know, Charlie Sheen's real name is Carlos Estevez. Blake Trinan as a reliever. Clay Holmes, Tanner Scott, Kenley Jansen, Kirby Yates, AJ Minter. If you don't bring back, I was going to say Trevor Hoffman, Jeff Hoffman, because man, I could see Jeff Hoffman getting 12-36, 13-39. As crazy as that is for a reliever. All right, thanks, Adam. Team splits for Crochet. All right, I got to check that out, Steve. Thanks. But I mean, I'm going by the WAR number, man. I'm going by, what writers are saying about being a top 10 pitcher. Maybe he's not, but if we can get him to go with Wheeler, Nola, and Crochet as your 3, and you go Sanchez 4, I'm saying at this point, Rangers getting traded. But man, I would do that. There's so many things that can be done. I mean, man, is it a chance that the Phillies just disappoint and do another, like a whoopee cushion move and bring in some other, utility scrub, with Merrifield type? I mean, give me Tyler O'Neill, stick him in left field with Marsh. We need outfielder. I think we're done with Johan Rojas experiment. I liked him, but that's enough. He could be on the team, but he'll be your defensive replacement type. We're giving the 20. Let's have Blake Trinan, bro. 1-year deal. Blake Trinan. He was great, man. 37 on the Dodgers. He had a nice year. And name Mike Rizzo the manager. Not Trinan. I'm sorry. I said Blake Trinan. Yeah, Blake Trinan was on the Dodgers this past year. Yeah. I'll take Blake Trinan on 1-year deal. All right. Name Mike Rizzo the GM. We got Preston Mattingly as the GM, who I know Matty B will be happy. Preston Mattingly, son of Don Mattingly. Still not a Hall of Famer. Should be, though. Don Mattingly is a chance when Thompson hangs it up or gets the boot out of town. Maybe Preston hires his dad. I don't know if that's a nepotism no-no or, they're not going to be able to do something like that. But I think they do stuff like that all the time. So, yeah, hire your dad to be the manager. Why not? I'll take him. But yeah, if you don't sign Jeff Hoffman, who's going to command some money, and you can't even offer him, you can't offer a qualifying offer because you'll be paying $21 million for a bullpen guy, and that's ludicrous. Not the rapper. A lot of ways the Phillies can go. I'm sure they'll disappoint. Let's hope for Soto, and if not, I think you got to trade Alec Bohm. You got to shake things up. Get rid of Bohm. I didn't like his attitude at the end. Thompson might be sick of him. He benched them during the playoffs. So, and if you trade Bohm, And say you trade Bone for a Crochet, maybe you could bring in a Bregman, and if not, just a stopgap for Aiden Miller. Just bring in a Gio or Shell or some other third base. Retread 1 year. Shoot, if you get Soto, I don't care if you have Sosa playing third base for the year. Preston G is finally a guy that I agree with as a GM that is better in ability than JJ Piccolo. Now, I'm cool with Mattingly, man. And Sam Fold is going to move to the front office. He's getting his master's degree or something. Man, I wish I could get money like that, and they'll be like, "I'll pay you to go to school, and then we're going to move you to the front office." How's that sound? Yes, Piccolo was on my little league team for a few years, but he knows his stuff. Okay, all right, cool. That's awesome. Nice. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. Let's hope the next time we talk, Phillies do something. Probably not, but let's see what happens. See what happens in Philly sports in the next week. I'm just going to be interesting. We know that much. But guys, my name's SalG. You can follow me here on It's a Wrap Network. I did Flyers post-game shows. I got my weekly show here, the Wraparound every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you set your calendars to that. And, be doing other stuff here on It's a Wrap, I'm sure. But follow me on @SalG Philly on X, the Twitter. And, we'll talk to you guys next time, man. Up a like for your boy, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate it. Talk to you next time, everyone. Take care. Peace.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I'm so Everybody know I'm hot. You know when the click through. Try to send this box to be a trophy.